coworkers.
Hold on, I gotta hack in.
Oh man, I had fun because my coworker worked at that where they were asking him to log into some system, and his response was like, "I'm in." He didn't even realize what he said. He's like, "I'm in." I was like, "Good job, buddy. That's fine."
Oh, I'm in. It's a Unix system. Mr. Arnold can't restart Jurassic Park, but little Lex can type in to close the door to keep the raptor out of him. Oh god, it says we're playing Call of Duty. That's not right. That's not accurate.
Accurate, 100%.
Where does it say we're playing Call of Duty?
On Twitch.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Just chatting. That should work for all of them. Let's see if it changes.
All right. I am the Uno in each one of these pages. Damn, Renee's already on here, dude.
All right, there we go. Just chatting's up. Yeah, Renee gets to go live on YouTube. Does YouTube do the same thing?
No clue.
What's up, Renee? All right, you guys ready?
Let's go.
It's like we have an incentive. It's an extra incentive to knock it out. But we can take our time. I mean, we don't have to blow through it.
I'm glad I preemptively answered Renee's Mission Impossible hashtag.
Bring the knives out. Mission Impossible is lame. Okay, that is you. There's Renee.
Oh,
You jumped ahead of his Mission
Yeah.
Impossible. I see what you're saying.
I knew what he was gonna do. I knew, yeah, it's fresh on his mind. Dude, there's a villain in the new film that just kept pulling out knives. I was like, where do these fucking knives come
Damn.
from, man? It's like he's like literally like knives everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like he stabbed like 3 people with knives, and then they're on the train, and he pulls more knives and starts climbing the train with knives. I was like, where do these knives keep coming from?
He's got like the Play-Doh, the Play-Doh set we all had, like the spaghetti factory. He just pulls out a vest. He's just got Play-Doh knives for days.
I mean, if I'm fighting that dude, I'm throwing him a gun. He didn't use a gun at all that whole movie. He just kept pulling knives.
You can beat him with that.
Great movie.
Counteract him with Giant Bomb, the knife versus bat. Remember that argument?
Oh God.
Brandon, is this really 264?
That's out.
I'm not doubting you.
I was out. Sounds like you're doubting me.
I kind of am. You updated it?
We do this every
No,
week.
we don't
man.
do it every week.
literally
It's been a
do this
while
every
since I
week.
doubted him.
Doubt him all the
Never
time.
doubt.
You just don't tell him in
Never
his
doubt.
face.
I think that jet lag is...
Yeah, you weren't supposed to tell him that. Get that between us.
Son of a bitch. I'll kill you.
No, I'm good. I can stay up forever. Yeah, going to sleep is the hard part.
Nah, man. ASMR puts me to sleep in like less than 4 minutes.
Hold on, where's the...
What do you listen to? The people like eating the snacks and stuff and like doing the nonstop moving?
It's the ear cleaning where they do the
He's right.
Q-tips in the ears and stuff like
263 was on personal AI Jesus.
Yep.
Never doubt Brant ever again. Never bring it up.
that. I don't know. You doubt him every
I never
time.
do.
I mean, if Brant happens to look in Reddit and says always doubt Brant, Richard's the moderator.
I'm the mod. I'm the mod. And it's just his ad with the foot hanging down from the top.
Every time I go in there, I said Brant's pretty reliable, and then Richard just bans my ass. I said, no, we don't talk about that here.
I've got an ad for damn Exo Prime. Oh, nope, there's the foot ad.
Is it
like it just popped up all of a sudden?
Is it an Exo Primal
Where do you
foot
see
ad?
these ads? Is it for the first story? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, your VPN probably blocks it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Hobby Japan. Queen's Blade Limit Break.
Oh yeah, that's the one where they keep blurring out.
Oh, I reloaded. There's nothing there now.
Oh, it'll pop back up because it did for me. Because it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it was.
I'm reading
I got
about
another Exo Primal and 1-2 Switch.
Who did they interview in this? There's a quote. The study said. I was hoping to see Frank Cifaldi. And oh, there it is down there at the bottom. I thought I was getting away from it.
It is on there. Yeah. Nope, he's there.
She's trying to.
Very, very bottom.
Oh, Frank is in there.
Yeah.
There
Last
it is.
paragraph.
Yeah, said Frank Cifaldi,
Yep.
co-director. All right, we're starting the news, but not starting the news. Let's record, gentlemen.
2, 3, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 264. Not 3, not 5. 5 is next week. 3 was last week of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and knife throwing podcast. Did he throw the knives?
He inserted them in people's bodies.
Yeah, we're good with a short blade. Just three guys
Full
with
penetration.
three guys with a short blade. This is episode 264 of the NOFODcast. This is going to be a news-heavy week. We are just going to talk news. We're going to skip games played for a little while. We all decided we didn't have major updates to fill in here, so we're going to wait till next week.
We can't afford Brand's back surgery for this week.
That's it, as he carries us into the subreddit of always
unreliable.
Always doubt Brant. The news this week that I mentioned, classic games are, quote, critically endangered, question mark. What does that mean? New Marvel game announced. I can't wait. It's been a while since I played one. The end of Xbox games with gold. Brant, this is old news. That was from like 3 years ago. Why are you recycling stories? Find out later. PSP game that's getting a spiritual successor. I saw this. I'm very excited. I feel like all my PSP crap I've been throwing in the universe here recently has brought this out for us. And it's finally over. I think that's self-explanatory. We won't even have to touch that one.
Yeah.
I am one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
Always doubting myself.
And each other.
Since others do it for me, so
gotta
doubt myself.
Reddit. I just checked the Reddit. The moderator is Highway 81 Beast.
Always doubt
I
Brant.
don't know who that guy is. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but he's moderating. Always doubt Brant.
Pressing X to doubt in LA Noire. There is Cesar Concepcion II, our resident page master and lore master. Cesar, how are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
You're about to be our resident smoke grenade master and Prox Mines, yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty lethal at the Prox Mines. I got to work on my loadout. You seem to have mastered the art of the Call of Duty loadout. You're valuable every single round.
My loadout auto refills with my my grenades. I chose that perk, so I'm always like, pick up your procs. I'm like, I already have maxed out procs. I'm like, let's go. I'm just tossing out procs. It's like it's a Christmas day.
I think that alone is worth it because we end up holding up in like the castle or wherever it is our rounds are ending up at. We can seal off pretty much all the doors and then still get murdered from the outside.
By some bullshit electricity. All right.
Oh God. Oh, do we touch on that a little bit? As our
I mean, we can at the end if y'all
want. The new
want.
boys stuff. I mean, we led into it, I guess.
I mean, if you want to start with that and finish with news, go for it. We gotta.
So there was an update to Call of Duty. I guess that's all we'll talk about is the new Warzone update. They added a crossover with it Amazon Prime Video show?
Yeah,
The Boys. Okay,
yeah. So
it's like the anti-heroes. And there's abilities. I haven't watched the show, so there's abilities from these characters like laser eyes, like a flea jump is what I call it, like a bounding leap type thing, and then the teleport. Like I haven't even gotten that one yet.
Yeah.
Teleport. What does that one do?
I've left y'all behind. I have left y'all behind
electroshock.
Many times with the teleport. I'm just not here as y'all get killed.
And the electroshock. The electroshock is the worst. I've yet to get the teleport. So the electroshock, when somebody sets that off, and we were in the castle last time this happened to us, didn't we win that round? No. I think Russell brought me back to life with the flare, and I wasted it. So it makes you start shooting. You're just like flailing around. Your screen is all electrified. All your stuff goes off, right? Like all the proxies and everything get killed immediately.
Yeah,
it's total bullshit. And you're just paralyzed. Like you can't do anything for 5 to 8 seconds. I think enough for somebody they would run in and totally destroy you. Yeah, it does bust your plates. Yeah, that's the extra annoying bit. But we had some wins. What, win today? Over the weekend?
Yeah.
Ooh. Over the course of the whole weekend. I know Cesar and I.
Second and third finishes.
Yeah, we played Saturday and Sunday.
Then some worse.
Lots of seconds and thirds and some ninths and...
I have results from multiple sports. Which one would you like?
Call of Duty Warzone.
What's the first option? What's the first one?
American football.
Here's what's coming up in CFL for this weekend.
That's not American football. Right?
No,
it said CFL. That's the Rough Riders and the Lions.
Oh, shit. Are they still playing?
I guess. It's Canadian football. Oh, boy. One win over the course of the past 3 days of warzoning. A lot of close calls.
Yeah.
I still am convinced I need a water gun going into the water at the very end, and then I can never find one. Or just keep a pistol. May do a couple rounds of just keeping the pistol and see how that goes.
I mean, there was ones where we played where people were just swimming around with a pistol and just killing people.
In the water.
Like,
From the water.
Yeah.
And this last round was a butthole run. It's up by, it's not an actual butthole. It looks like a butthole. What is that? The cruise terminal? Like just north of the...
It's a museum.
Oh, it is a museum.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, we pretty much any game where we have to lend to orifice is always
Yes,
called the
there's-
butthole run. That's usually what
there's
our
a giant orifice at the top. And we thought, surely, it was way out of the circle, we would be safe. And then as I panned around, there was like at least 12 people.
Don't call me
So
Shirley.
many people.
Surely.
Yeah, don't call me Shirley.
Surely we'll be fine. And we got destroyed. Or we veered off and we made a decent run out of that one. We just got the hell out of Dodge. All right, let's get into this news. 87% of classic video games are critically endangered, it's claimed. The Video Game History Foundation, in partnership with the Software Preservation Network. I've never heard of them. Have y'all heard of Software Preservation Network?
I have now.
Yeah, we have now officially.
As of recently.
They have together, both of them combined, their research has claimed that 87% of classic video games released in the United States are critically endangered. A study conducted by the two groups found that across a sample of games released prior to 2010, a small fraction of them were still in circulation for new releases. For example, from the sample of Commodore 64 games tested, only 4.5% of them were still purchasable on a modern digital storefront. Name 4.5 Commodore 64 games. Our older, more...
River Raid, one of them. River Raid 1.
I don't think River Raid was on Commodore. Zork. Hitchhiker's Guide. Sorry, you had the mini Commodore, didn't you? Did Winter Games come out on Commodore?
I don't know, man. It's still not. Put it back in the box in the
It
closet.
was like an Epix machine.
I remember your young ones were playing the crap out of it.
Across the Game Boy family of systems, only 5.8%. The figure was far higher prior to the shutdown of the Wii U and 3DS eShop, which resulted in the only games available for those systems largely being locked behind Nintendo's online service. Quote, imagine if the only way to watch Titanic was to find a used VHS tape and maintain your own vintage equipment so that you could still watch it, the study said, end quote. End quote, the study said. What's wrong with having a VHS tape of Titanic? I bet it skips in a couple parts, you know? That was 2 tapes.
Better than, yeah, it was. It was a double VHS.
Titanic is 2 tapes. Just like Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 will be 2 Ultra HD Blu-ray discs. They are of equal caliber and length. And what if no library, not even the Library of Congress, could do any better? They could keep and digitize that VHS of Titanic, but you'd have to go all the way there to watch it. It sounds crazy, but that's the reality we live in with video games, a $180 billion industry, while the games and their history disappear. The study looks to grant further exemptions to libraries and organizations where it comes to preserving video games. Pervert-serving. Currently, most archives are in...
Perversing.
I'm perversing your VHS tapes over here. Do you have a copy of Titanic, maybe? I'm needing to do some French painting research.
It's behind the beads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh God, it'd be your luck, Richard, when you go into Goodwill and you purchase 2 tape 2s of a Titanic one.
Oh God.
And
at least I can check it at Goodwill, right? There's always a copy of Titanic at Goodwill. Do I send it next time I find one?
Yeah, if you find 2 tape 1s together.
Guaranteed, every Goodwill, copy of Titanic on VHS and a copy of Matrix on DVD. The cardboard cover one.
Quintessential.
Yeah.
Essential viewing from 99, 2000, those 2. The piece of legislation that dictates how classic games are preserved and access the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, is to be re-examined in 2024. So this is what's responsible for getting your takedown strikes on music, licensing in games and such, right? Isn't that the big thing people hide behind? We're hopeful that this study will incite change and that video game preservation will become stronger before we lose more, said the VGHF. I hope this study wakes people up. For years, we've known that the availability of classic video games in a legal, safe way has been dire, but no one has ever put a number to that. Safe? Is it dangerous to download titles?
A lot of people
you never know.
A lot of people get viruses when they download the base of the pirates.
You're right about safe there. Said Frank Cifaldi, co-director, Video Game History Foundation. The results are worse than probably any other medium. He is right. We've been talking about this for a long, long time. There's always a new way to watch the original King Kong or Adventures of Robin Hood from 1939 or Gone with the Wind. Like nonstop re-releases, right, of these classic versions of this medium. Or Meet the Beatles or Michael Jackson's Thriller. Every new format that comes out, even if it's like an upped bitrate digital copy, we have access to it, right? Not the same with games. And I like the point about maintaining the VHS most likely, whatever these music and video re-releases are, you have a device that plays it, a currentish device that will play that. That's not necessarily the same with our medium. You can't just use any old DVD player or any old CD player and pop it in. And some formats try to go that way. There were some interesting offshoots back in the days of those early optical mediums. Surprised there's been no Blu-ray successor. And they took back from 2010. I guess that's when they decided we were getting re-releases of everything, and they're saying there's never been a new title come out since 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, you've had 18 chances to buy Resident Evil 4 since 2010. We don't understand what. Game preservation is alive and well. We're good. Nintendo's let us buy Super Mario Brothers multiple times across that time period. Oh, speaking of which, something re-upped. One of our services that we have access to for classic games, so we might need to square up later. Or he's still unaware.
No, it's fine.
He's never unaware.
I think I bought I went ahead and got an eShop card because they were like 15% off on Best Buy.
Smart.
And so I used that to re-up because it was going to expire the 22nd. And I was like, well, let me do it while the sale's still going on at Best Buy.
We'll pay you back the profits. You can make the profits off us.
I literally not worried about it because I still owe Richard money and I still owe other people from Richard's family money too. So
Drug money?
sure, let's go with that as I criminate myself over every live service available. So
There's only 5 people that can narc you here. you might be safe. Oh, I read that whole article. I do.
yeah, right. Once I come to work, like we got them, they just drove up from the ceilings. We got
just like us at Call of Duty. This
said
building's safe.
Yeah. I'm glad they waste millions and millions of dollars of operational funding to get my ass instead of somebody that's probably worth it.
Just you, only you.
You were too easy to get. We just finished off the fight.
All right, I read that whole article, which was not my plan, but I think it was summarized the right way. Somebody give me a good summary of this Black Panther game in development.
I got this one, Brent. Black Panther game is in development of the new EA studio Cliffhanger, and this is all from VGC Tom Ivan.
Woo, way to go. Next up.
Yeah.
I mean, that pretty much is it.
That's pretty much it. Other than they formed a new studio from Warner's Monolith, which handled Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War.
Those were good games.
Well maybe Fear. They did Fear as well. They did other games. I don't know why they listed only those two games. In addition to that, they have people from Halo, God of War, and the Call of Duty team. According to EA, I think where was this at, Brant? They said it was in California, Colorado, or something like that.
One of the C's.
Trying to look.
Cliffhanger games.
I think I got C stuck in there because it's Cliffhanger games. I'm just gonna keep going.
They had a cool logo, right? They showed off their new logo. Yeah, it's like an infinity thing.
Yes. So they said they're still early in development with a long road ahead. They know the foundation, the great stories, building experienced team with diverse voices and perspectives that we want to build, especially with a superhero as important as Black Panther. EA has announced several new games based on Marvel properties. They have also announced Iron Man and from the Dead Space team and and the Star Wars Squadron Motive Studio.
Somebody bought Meta bought the Iron Man VR developer, right? I'm sure they'll end up.
Was it Camouflage?
I'm sure they'll end up doing something else with that tech that they developed for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, other than they said that they're going to, it's a single player, it seemed like it's a single player experience, right? Giving them more agency control over the narrative that they can have experience in a story-driven video game. Stevens added.
Their game was leaked last summer. Do y'all remember hearing about this?
I feel like, I remember seeing like a Black Panther game being leaked, but we didn't know who the developer was or publisher.
Right.
I don't.
Oh, if they're just now announcing this, well.
I clicked in the article.
They kept this quiet for a while.
No, it's the exact same thing. It's stopped by former Monolith Productions, Kevin Stevens.
So they just hadn't been named at this point.
Giant Bob, yeah, Giant Bob leaked it early. Yeah, they just didn't have the name of the studio and all that stuff. So yeah, look forward to that. They said it was early, so we're probably gonna get that in another 3 or 4 years at least. Earlier, yeah. Probably.
Jeff Grubb brought this news out.
Yeah, yep. I guess that's it with that one, and we'll move on to Brant's favorite part of the show, the end of Xbox Games with Gold, because Brant was here every week for the Games with Gold updates.
Yeah, obviously we gave up Games with Gold because Xbox gave up on Games with Gold quite a long time ago.
Even reading them.
But they are actually folding that service over, migrating that service over into a new form of Game Pass called Game Pass Core.
it's similar to like the PlayStation one, right? Where they have different tiers of the same service.
That was my initial thought as I watched the little video. They've got a real cute like 2-minute video just kind of giving a breakdown that the Microsoft, I think she's head of Game Pass marketing or something like that, and it was a great, just like, she's real straightforward. It's the service you already love is gold. You'll stop getting those games, but you're still going to get a couple games, and we call it core now. It's the same price for everybody else. Nothing changes. But my initial reaction after that was like, this is almost exactly like the new PlayStation program with the tiers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like Richard said, it's priced at the same prices, so about $9.99 per month, or about $60 a year. But you get access to, of course, your Xbox multiplayer gaming, a library of over 25 games, exclusive member deals. And that seems to be it. Let's see, launching.
These are good games.
That's going to be
good games in the service. Yeah.
It's worth mentioning to note that this effectively will be your new tier, September 14th of this year, and the launch lineup for your Xbox Game Pass core games are Among Us, Descenders, Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5, Grounded, Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2. Wow,
I like Halo 2 Wars.
Mixed up there. Halo 2.
It's LAN party time now.
Hellblade,
Excellent.
Senua's Sacrifice, Human Fall Flat, Inside, Ori Will of the Wisps, Psychonauts 2, State of Decay 2, and Elder Scrolls Online. Tamriel Unlimited.
It's a good variety of games, and is a good introduction to the full Game Pass.
It really is.
It's a good sample of what you would get from the full Game Pass release. So.
There's family stuff, there's shooters, there's action adventure, there's a sample of all the Forza Gears, Halo that you always hear about, right? There's a door to opening another service for Elder Scrolls Online. That's a bunch of good games, and Fable Anniversary.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And try to bring life back in Fallout 76.
Yeah, this isn't bad. I'm still I'm not needing Game Pass. I'm not anti Game Pass, but I'm still not needing it. So
I mean, if you're a parent of a teenager or preteen, this is a good deal.
Yeah.
So like, hey, here's some games to play. Just play these.
Especially for
until they complain that there's nothing good.
Especially for some of those service titles or family/party games like Among Us or Elder Scrolls Online. Forza Horizon 4, that's a big deal. That is $9.99 a month, as Brant said. The 4 tiers are Core, which we just broke down. Console, which is $10.99 a month, which I guess is the full Game Pass. That's not getting you the shorted, abbreviated list. PC Game Pass, that also includes EA Play membership, and then Ultimate, which is console, PC, cloud, EA Play, the new games on day one. Well, the new games on day one are console and up, so all 3 of those higher tiers. And it's pretty smart. Like I actually might consider, I did not take advantage of the PC one. I may consider the console one if there's some deal. If they start selling these cards in like 3 months of this, 3 months of this, if they start breaking that down, I may dip into that console one, especially when Starfield is right around the corner. All right. Next up, the team behind PlayStation's Patapon reveals successor game Ratatan. I think I said that right. Thought that's a Pokemon. A spiritual successor to PlayStation's classic rhythm action game, Patapon was unveiled at Bit Summit in Kyoto, Japan on Saturday. I saw Shuhei was there with a guy I've been following from Xbox days. I asked him where he got an Xbox LAN party shirt years and years ago. He was out there with some of the third-party relations. I feel like Shuhei's living his best life with the developer relations and stuff. It's like launching PlayStation VR, and then after leading that development, and then it's like he's doing the fun stuff that he always wanted to do. It's a cool gig. Ratatan is being developed for unspecified platforms by Patapon creator Hiroyuki Kotani, with audio by original Patapon musician Kimi Adachi. The game will be crowdfunded via Kickstarter, with the campaign due to start on July 31st. Originally released for the PSP in 2007, Patapon is a rhythm-based 2D platform action game in which players command an army of cute anthropomorphic eyeballs known as Patapons that can be commanded to move forward, attack, defend, and retreat by using a sequence of drum beats. The game received 2 sequels on PSP, and the first 2 games were remastered with 4K visuals on PlayStation 4. Few details were revealed during Bit Summit panel, but the game's developers told VGC in a private meeting that the game would include roguelike elements and multiplayer for up to 4 players. He said the main creator said he wanted to make a Patapon-like experience, but with new elements. He also didn't rule out working with Sony on a traditional sequel in the future. This may be one of those testers. I feel like they've done this in the past. Like, let's see how the spiritual successor works, and then we can see about revitalizing that. I really thought after Sonic Mania we were going to get a lot more Sonics in that vein, and still hasn't really come to pass.
There was a recent article talking about how Sega is interested in possibly rebooting some of those Sonic franchises.
We talked about that last week with Burning Rangers and Nights into Dreams. This goes back to that first article. You can re-release those. You're not going to have this majority of people that play games. The internet's strange. I don't want to say disliking that sort of announcement, but there's a whole new era of gamers that do not have access to that on a platform. They don't. It's not like the examples I brought up before with the movies and music. They just don't have a way. So if you re-release Nights into Dreams on something, it still bugs me how PC puts it in that Dreamcast collection. They call it Dreamcast collection with Nights into Dreams, Jet Set Radio, Sega Bass Fishing, and there's one more, and they're very clearly Dreamcast games, and they keep throwing that one in there.
And that's the thing, is you talked about going back to the game preservation. I recently saw a video with the people from the Video Games Foundation talking about it, and one of the gentlemen said that he's not worried about people like us. Most of us are knowledgeable. We have a collection of our own. We know how to go about setting up emulators, getting the correct emulators,
right?
Navigating to find the games, right, or backing up our games and things like that. He's worried about the everyday person, because just like you said, I mean, not everybody's going to have access to a decent PC or know where to go to even look for emulators, or maybe they don't even know what the heck an emulator is. They just want to be able to have a box, connected to their TV and play whatever they want off. So
the Mario Brothers movie was a huge success, right? Major, and it was a good movie.
Amazing.
Nintendo has done a great job. I mean, there's some offshoots here and there, but between Nintendo Switch Online and some of the 3D All-Stars and things like that, and Odyssey, you can play some of the best snippets of Mario games that have ever been made. So over the past...
Give us Hotel Mario, you cowards.
Hotel Mario. That's the ones for us, where we know how to go find them and find ways to play them. Those are the ones you were talking about.
Like Mario's Missing and all that shit.
Missing. Yeah. I think I have it for Super Nintendo. Hotel Mario. Jeez. Wand of Gamelon. Oh, we didn't put the limited run news in here. That whole show had tons of stuff. We can talk about that next week. Yeah. We can talk about that next week because it'll still be relevant next week. It was so much stuff. But if more of these media properties are coming out, well, Sony's doing it with Twisted Metal. The Twisted Metal show is coming out, and we're about to get Twisted Metal 1 and 2 for one of those services. That show looks bad. Yeah, I need to watch. Yeah. Brent, find that trailer that you watched, and
I'll find it. Just as you were saying that, I'm going to find it for you.
Y'all talking about the show? I'm excited about Twisted Metal 1 and 2.
That's what we're excited for.
I'm excited for Twisted Metal 1, or not 1, 2. We want 2.
Brant and I know one fan of Twisted Metal 1. I need to message him and see if he's excited.
I'm just waiting for the clown giggles.
Yeah. Oh, but if we get a Zelda movie, if we get a Metroid movie, it would be a shame if it sparked this interest in this franchise and those were not available for somebody to track down and consume in some way. That's safe, easy access, the stuff that Frank Cifaldi was talking about, right? Assassin's Creed. I keep looking at Cesar's Assassin's Creed shirt. Backwards compatibility has done a lot, but again, that goes back to like 2010, right? That was a good comment about the 2010 stuff. A lot of that is backwards compatibility, or that is PS4 and Xbox One just about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Wii stuff that's kind of stuck there.
I mean, Xbox has done a pretty good job. getting their stuff on their 360, getting working on there. Sony's finally doing something with their PS1 and PSP stuff. So.
Oh, we were at Walmart. My kid saw an advertisement for Pikmin 4. They're heavily advertising Pikmin 4. Mm-hmm. And naturally, I guess I put this in them. I don't know if that's... Brent sent us the link. They're like, what about the other Pikmin games? What about 1, 2, and 3? Are those... Where can I get those sort of thing? And it's like, well, that has those, but they're not all super convenient. They're about to be all available on a cartridge on one platform, and that's great. You can play every single one of the Pikmin games. Dedicated Pikmin box. Sony Japan Studio, the Tokyo-based PlayStation studio who led development on the Patapon games,
Yeah.
was closed in 2021. That sucks.
Salt in the wound.
Oh, it hurts. However, Katani said he had no ill feelings towards his former employer. Even if Japan Studio itself doesn't exist anymore, there's still a lot of creative energy at Sony, and I'm looking forward to the types of projects that are going to come from them. He said, there's still a lot of support coming from PlayStation for developers in Japan. There's so many Sony games being released with a worldwide focus, but there are also developers like Capcom with a Japanese focus. I'm happy to see both approaches coming out. He's right on that. Like, we bemoan the loss of Japan Studio as a name, but a lot of those creative directors and stuff are still there. They just got reshuffled. We just happen to like the stuff that they put out. Because they consisted of Team Ico, and there was other people that were rolled into Japan Studio. But it definitely was our niche.
Brent, this content you sent me is unavailable in my region.
Change your VPN.
I'm good.
It's just on your watch. Switch it from your watch. We might have time to... do you want to add the limited run stuff at the end?
I mean, I could. Just run through it real quick. I'll find an article.
Last but not least, Microsoft Activision deal moves closer as FTC's latest block effort is denied. Cesar Yawns, he's over it. We're all over it. Microsoft could now move to close the deal. I think it's supposed to be done by the end of this week, right? Because
about to say Tuesday. Sometime this week.
I think they were aiming for Tuesday or something like that.
Earlier this week, the Xbox firm won a court battle with the FTC, which is seeking to block the deal over antitrust concerns. An existing temporary restraining order on the deal ends just before midnight, but that already was dismissed as of this news. Now the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has denied its request for emergency relief to stop Microsoft from closing the deal until the conclusion of the FTC's appeal. Microsoft welcomed the news on Friday. Today they announced a partnership with Sony for Call of Duty for 10 years. Previously, it had been stated that it was around 3 years. So
it was 5 years for the whole Activision catalog. They elected Call of Duty only for 10 years.
Oh, so the Activision catalog is gonna... There's no commitment?
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. The deal is only for Call of Duty. That's it.
Yikes. That's a hefty catalog. Well, they haven't been doing a lot with it, so who knows? Yeah.
I mean, it's technically Microsoft. You don't want people bitching like, oh, we have to put this on here. Just leave it up to them, right?
So we've already seen, you guys are playing Warzone on PS5. We've already seen that when you hand it off to an Xbox Warzone player, we get into matches faster. How long until it trickles down to like Diablo and people like that?
Soon. I'm looking forward to them getting rid of Blizzard Net and putting fucking everything on Steam like it should be.
Yes, I think that is going to be the best thing for all of us for this coming out is Steam integration.
Steam or Microsoft Store, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, though, to see them go back and fix all the legacy stuff already.
Awesome. I mean, that might have already been in the pipeline. Stuff like that doesn't just turn on, but...
Yeah, because they fixed another 360 game. Remember, they said it was on there. That's from Microsoft. I was reading
Really? What else was on there? Brent was, of course, alluding to a whole bunch of old Call of Duty titles got brought back, their servers back online. And immediately they had like 10,000 people on Black Ops 2. Would you say 100,000 on original Black Ops?
Yeah, 150,000.
Russell was playing that first night it went up. Two of his high school friends bought the digital copy for $15. They were back playing just like they were back in the day.
A lot of those servers were still up, but like the matchmaking was terrible. Yeah. And you'd get into a lobby and you'd have problems with cheaters, or you would just be a very understaffed match. You know?
So, of course, I went to the subreddit, Doubt Brant Forever, and some comments were saying...
As one does.
As one moderates. Some people were saying lobbies are full of hackers and cheaters and that kind of stuff, but it was all alluding to what had previously happened, like you were saying, Brant. I haven't seen anybody who's jumping in now and is like, there's cheaters in there. It's all full of hack bots and whatever. So I haven't seen any live news of that. It's all people just bitching and moaning. Microsoft can now close the deal after the restraining order expires. However, it still needs to resolve issues in the UK competition regulator, the CMA. Microsoft and Activision Blizzard announced on Tuesday they paused the legal proceedings with a view to reaching out an out-of-court agreement on the merger. Microsoft wants to complete the Activision Blizzard transaction before the current merger agreement expires on July 18th, after which Activision Blizzard could walk away from the $3 billion termination fee if an extension isn't agreed. Walk away with a $3 billion termination fee. That's hefty. Mm-hmm. Not walk away from.
All right, this was GameSpot. This is where I read it at. Shadowrun, an online first-person shooter, originally launched on 360, is now playable online.
Shadowrun. I was in retail when that launched.
Yeah, again, thanks to what seems like a matchmaking fix for Microsoft.
Very cool. I wonder if they changed that. They didn't seek out Shadowrun to bring back online, right? Call of Duty makes sense. Why Shadowrun?
I think they just pushed a fix for matchmaking. I think that's what it is. It just applied to everything that affected that particular server.
It's wild. Here's that's for only Switch titles. I don't know what else they released. Gamatsu has. We're trying to find this a good limited run games article for you.
Oh, I already put one.
Oh, you already have it. Shit.
Refresher.
Yeah,
refresher news.
Damn, I closed out. Get back in that Google Drive. Limited run show. I did not watch this live. I was keeping up with it on Twitter. Kind of seeing the stuff trickle
I
out.
watched part of it live and then got busy. So I was not able to watch.
You can't get busy and watch the limited run games showcase at the same time?
Nah.
Oh, wow. Here they are in order. Excellent.
Yep.
Thank you, timeextension.com. All right, do we want to just run down the announcements and then kind of touch our...
Really quickly, because, I mean, and a lot of these aren't just games, because Limited Run has this kind of expanded their business into, like, vinyl and things like that. Yeah. So there's some vinyl and other little things.
Oh, we also forgot to mention Digital Eclipse announced their next big project, and it's like a documentary of Karateka. The old.
It's in here.
Oh, it's in.
Yes, yep. It's in. They were now limited runs doing the physical. Yeah.
Excellent. Yep. Never mind. Carry on. Go ahead, Brant.
Let's see. They announced the Castlevania Advance Collection. Didn't we already have a physical of this?
Not the Game Boy Advance version.
Just the regular, the classic ones with like 1, 2, 3, Super.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Switch, PS4, Xbox One.
Yep. With 4 different covers for each one of the games, which actually looks pretty.
That Rondo Blood one is dope, but I've always been a sucker for that Circle of Moon box art too. I need to get back to that. Game's good as hell.
We had Rise of the Triad.
What is this? I've heard of this. Is it an old PC game or something? What was Rise of the Triad? Nobody knows. It's a mystery to all of us.
I don't remember.
Probably a Commodore 64 game. The Hunt returns again. This time it's physical.
So it's a first-person shooter by 3D Realms from 1995. It looks like it's probably when they're running the Doom engine or the
Duke Nukem. Yeah, that sounds about right. Night Dive Studios doing it. Night Dive Studio has really slid into that niche. They've got they did Shadow Man.
It's a modified Wolfenstein 3D engine, according to Wikipedia.
For Rise of the Triad, I gotta look this up. That one's escaped me. I've heard that name though.
Real quickly, it's a first-person shooter video game developed and published by Apogee Software, now 3D Realms in 95. Player can choose one of 5 different characters to play as, each bearing unique attributes such as height, speed, and endurance. The game story follows these 5 characters who have been sent to investigate a deadly cult and soon become aware of a deadly plot to destroy a nearby city.
Probably that era of like you could get 1 CD-ROM or like 6 floppy disks. You could buy the game.
It did come out for DOS in 1994.
Yes, there we go. Yes. Yeah. All right, what's up next, Brant?
Kumaju
Remilia, Scarlet Symphony.
Scarlet Symphony.
I've never heard of this either.
This was the side scroller action based kind of thing. It kind of reminded
like
me
Contra-esque?
of like a yeah, I think so.
I did see that.
Oh wait,
The Tiger Heli
no,
collection.
I think that I was yeah.
That is the
Tiger Heli
English
collection.
That is the English release. This was the Japanese release of that game.
Which one?
The
Scarlet Symphony?
Vermilion Scarlet
Okay.
Symphony. Yeah.
What is it?
It's been out in Japan for a while. It's like a Metrovania
Okay.
type thing.
Ah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Next we have what you were alluding to earlier, the making of Karateka. They posed it as, one of the first games ever where you actually had characters to where you could actually see their characteristics. They moved in more dynamic ways. The combat was based on, the guys that made it were, they were like taking some form of martial arts at the time, and they worked that into the game. And
the movement is broken down. Yeah, rotoscope.
Yeah.
The movement is broken down by, and the way the character moves. Like, I've never played this before, and I heard it's super difficult. But the way the character moves lends towards the animation of Jordan Mechner's next game he would make after this, which was Prince of Persia. So if you can imagine, like, the jumping and the pulling up over the ledge, like that, the way the body would move up and over that's mapped in there too. This is part of Digital Eclipse's new Gold Master series. This is the first of the like Atari 50 style documentary. I love this kind of shit. I will be supporting this. I don't know anything about this game. I'll be supporting this. And I reached out to Mike Micah and was pleading for a River Raid version of this Gold Master series. It would be so cool. Please, while Carol Shaw is still alive, all these people are here to give these interviews, and these are the people to create the stories behind them and the games behind these stories.
We just need the Gold Series version of the Inca people.
Oh no!
So we can have the whole Giant Bomb segment in there. With
them singing as that thing's like flying through space. And the Inca people. What was that on? Was that an old PC game too?
3DO maybe.
I think it was a 3DO game. Now that you mention that,
might have been. Next up, they went into the soundtracks. So we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. It's all the music from
Holy shit.
Like the Cowabunga collections. So
CD, cassette, and vinyl.
Yeah, and they're releasing them periodically throughout the year. So I think I can't remember if it was one or like a couple per month. It looks like one per month. Like that.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, it's literally one per month.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Then they had Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition.
Complete.
I think Russell played a lot of this one back in the day.
I remember playing this on PC when it was released by Atari, right? Was it Atari?
Atari Hasbro, maybe? Looking at the box, thinking about the box. Yep. Because this was one of those, if you didn't have a gaming PC, you just had a PC with a CD-ROM, you could probably play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
It might have been the ones that ran off the CD-ROM that didn't even install back in the day.
Oh, this is a big one. El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. That recently got a
HD.
Digital re-release, right?
Came out on Steam.
Steam only?
So far. Okay. They announced it was coming to
Switch.
But they never
this is getting a Switch.
Switch is the big announcement here. And of course, that's a remaster of a 360 and PS3 title.
Then we had Dungeons of Aether.
Never heard of this one. Oh, pre-orders are open now. Open pre-orders, which they should do for everything. Limited run.
This one had me very intrigued. Shantae Advance Risky Revolution. So this was a game that they started working on right after Game Boy Color, Shantae. They were working on it for the Game Boy Advance, and the developer said they somewhat ran out of time, and they were having to realize, do we cut things? Do we do this? Do we do this? And then they couldn't deliver, and they didn't want to, sacrifice their vision for the game. So they pretty much skipped it and moved on to the next thing. But the game was pretty much all there. So they're releasing it for the first time physically.
For Switch.
For Switch. And I want to say it's actually going to have like a Game Boy Advanced cart release.
I think that's all they've announced.
In the
Physical
near
is a
future.
Game Boy Advance cart release. I was joking about the Switch cart. You got to have a Game Boy Advance to play it.
Yeah, people were asking about any other systems. They said right now it's just Game Boy Advance.
I saw that quote tweet too. Shantae games are fun. I know you guys like them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're awesome.
All right, we'll go with was it Chicory?
Yeah.
Chicory was announced. It's coming on PS4, PS5, and Switch.
Great candidate for a physical copy.
Then they went on to announce Odin Cat Paradise Collection, which I think this was a Switch only one. It looks like one of those Stardew Valley type esque aesthetic games.
Like farming and
it just graphically it does. It looks like a Game Boy Advance type game. Odin's Cat Bear Restaurant and Fishing Paradise is a pair of afterlife adventures. Serve up last suppers to the dead, or fish away eternity in paradise. Both games are cute, cozy, yet deep dive into what it means to enjoy life.
Holy shit! A pair of afterlife adventures serve up last suppers to the dead. Ooh.
Yeah.
This got dark.
And then
it doesn't look like that from the graphics. Look at these like happy pixel animals. Are the animals dead?
Yeah, it looks like.
Are we
dead.
dead?
It looks like almost like Earthbound, maybe.
Or The Sixth Sense.
I think we had that discussion at my job where it's like, if this is hell, then they got us every time we go to work. But
only at work.
Yeah.
Subreddit hell at work.
So I guess what remembered all that, reminded everything for Richard, and this was the announcement for RZ the Jewel of Faramore, which is a
CDI ass looking game,
spiritual successor to those Zelda
CDI ass looking game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's a very, very specific description. And when I watched the video of this, it fucking nailed that.
Yeah. Kingdom of Faramore is beautifully realized by Rob Dunlavy, the artist behind the world map paintings from the games that inspired RZ, plus voiceover talent from the games that inspired RZ returned to their, that's weird to say it like that, to lend their charm to the venture, including Jeffrey Rath, I was hoping it was Jeffrey Rush, and then Bon Jean Wolf.
Jeffrey Rush.
And then we have our what seems like our yearly announcement for Plumbers Don't Wear Ties definitive edition, which is finally being.
What is the big deal behind this? I don't know. I see it mentioned as like a meme or a joke, and it's one of those things I'm just like, I don't know what it is.
I don't.
It's supposed to be that
3D.
It's
one of the worst.
Yeah, it's like a 3DO game where it had bad acting,
horrible acting,
suggestive choices that you could do on there. It's probably the closest we got to like a suggestive game back in that time period. It's very tame.
So it's a naughty FMV, like it leaned naughtier.
Not even.
Really?
It's like yes, yeah. It's like it tries to be, but
like a Leisure Suit Larry.
Kind of.
It's like a C movie.
It's like semi-risque, but it's not really.
It is like a softcore porn without any of the porn stuff. All right, so.
Oh, it's bad FMV.
Then This one had me was This Way Madness Lies, which is like a take on Sailor Moon type thing. Magical Girl.
Is this
I think
is this a port or a new title or?
It's a new title. It's I'll get to it. Let me just read on here. Takes place in Italy. As a leader of the Stratford upon Avon High School Drama Society, Imogen is no ordinary girl. She goes to school every day and helps produce plays for the community. Beyond that, she's a magical girl. So it's kind of like it looks like Sailor Moon. Team of like 5 of them that with different.
Look at that battle system. Looks like fucking Golden Sun. Oh my god, it looks good.
Yep. It's from the same people who made that Sega CD game that we always love that goes on sale often, like Cosmic something. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. Its key features include unique turn-based combat, hang out with your friends, put on plays, Shakespearean dialogue, too difficult to phrase, multi-character unite abilities, teaches you while you learn. Get a pet. That's literally one of the things. And fun for the whole family.
So wholesome. I miss the days of. So it was pointed out in Final Fantasy 16. Like you never see a different Clive. Well, there's the pixel art one, like when he's leveling up or talking to the lore master guy. But back, like Final Fantasy 7, we had like the field sprite Cloud. We had the beautiful artwork in the menus. We had the Battle Cloud that was a different character model. We had the FMV Cloud that was a different looking character model. And you kind of like your brain blended together all those to create that character, right? And we've got Clive that just looks like Clive the whole way through. Like that having to blend that with our brains because of the limitation of the hardware. It's not there anymore. Like these characters are going from pixel art, and then you see like the full character in the battle, where they were in the foreground, kind of Golden Sun style. This looks awesome. Great art style.
And then we had Midnight Fight Express, which is kind of like Hotline Miami top-down view as you get into battles on like random places on a train and whatnot. I think that one's a former member of the criminal underworld is lured back into the life, kind of like John Wick, by a mysterious drone claiming that they have until sunrise to prevent a citywide criminal takeover together. Then you have Richard's favorite genre of games, Colossus Cave, which is based and plays just like Myst.
Sure.
Which is a acclaimed game designer Roberta Williams revives Colossal Cave as a retro point-and-click cave exploration puzzler based on the original 1970 design by Will Crowther and Don Woods. This 3D update maintains its vintage charm while revitalizing it for the modern
Stay
game.
tuned for more info. I think I won't, but I'm glad it's there for other people.
Then you have the Super Mario RPG-esque another Crusade.
I kind of feel sorry for these people because they would have really had some thunder like 4 weeks ago. But this still looks incredible. It does not take away from there. And Cesar's right. It's like a very modern looking. Well, I guess like the new remake style of Mario RPG.
It's inspired by, like I said, Super Mario RPG's traditional turn-based combat RPG. Execute commands while timing to increase your attacks and defenses. Cast powerful magic attacks, amplify them with fun button sequences, run and jump your way through various stages while finding treasures. This is all
That
Mario
looks great.
RPG,
Who's Dragon Vein Studios? Have y'all heard of them before?
Never.
No. Solve puzzles, complete quests, meet a wonderful cast of funny characters and comical situations, and tons of secrets.
And the characters look like puppeteer characters. This is another great timeless art style.
Then we had the old classic Rose and Camilla collection, which I played a lot of the Flash game back in like 2007 or something.
This looked actually pretty hilarious. It's like a freaking soap opera, and the trailer shows you like you getting into a verbal disagreement with this woman, and then like it has the waggle motion for your Joy-Con, and you can slap her across the face and stuff.
So I think the description on here is perfect. So Rose and Camille collection is a remake of the 2007 Flash game developed by Naikoro, which I think was a Japanese developer. Ryoko, who aims to become the matriarch of the household of Jesus, and she engages in slap battles with other female opponents as Wuthering Heights beats slap your foes into submission. It is very.
This looks
that's a good example.
So very unique. Oh, the counterattack! The maid was like,
yeah. It's being brought over by our friends at WayForward, who's bringing this over. Then they announced the Gargoyles remastered. No gameplay. They just said there's going to be a physical one, and I guess it's more info coming this fall. I want to go back and watch
that show. See if it holds up. I enjoyed it back in the day.
Then we have Brant's favorite Double Shake, which is inspired by Kelowna. Grab, shake, throw, kick to save your islands from total chaos in this action-packed Blast of the Past 2.5D platform inspired by some of your favorite fifth-generation games.
Looks exactly like.
Oh my God, this is straight up Klonoa. Yeah. What a great job.
Then one of the games of the show for me, which was Clock Tower, which is a game I did not play on Super Nintendo back in the day, which I'm very excited.
We never got it right.
Play it for PS1.
No,
PS1.
We got the PS1 ones, yeah, the sequels. Scissorman stalks again. Clock Tower will be reborn via the Carbon Engine for the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam in 2024. The collaborations between Capcom, Sunsoft, WayForward, and Limited Run revives the seminal Super Famicom survival horror and introduces it to new modern audiences.
Did you want to make that a seminal Super Famicom survival horror?
Sure.
Clock Tower's an all-time tentpole.
One of the OG horror games before Resident Evil came in and redefined that genre.
So this is awesome to have on all those platforms they mentioned.
Then we have a Jurassic Park collection, game made for Richard, and it could have been by Richard, but it wasn't made. It's just being made for Richard. The 8/16
games are not good. I don't like these.
The 8/16-bit. The Genesis one's probably my favorite out of all of them. It's not saying it's a good game, but it's my favorite one. All right,
and it's not even in here.
I see that NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo.
That's unfortunate. The 8-16-bit era of Jurassic Park games returns later this year. The Carbon Engine release not only includes a lineup of classic titles, but also added new features, including save states for each game, new in-game apps, and various quality of life fixes that bring these games into modern era gaming. As Brent has mentioned, the only ones in this collection is the NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo, and then Jurassic Park Part 2, which they couldn't finish it the first time on Game Boy and Super Nintendo. And I'll leave the last two for Brant, since I'm sure he'd be very excited for these last two. So
hell yeah, we get a Carbon Engine is giving us a bountiful harvest.
God bless the Carbon Engine.
It's funny, before you start, Brant, me and Richard were talking about the 1995 aesthetic, and I told him it was going to be a bunch of PS1 or Sega Saturn games.
Yeah. And we're eating good because we're getting Tomba, baby. Tomba, a game locked to the PS1 or to your PS3, PSP, PS Vita, if you can buy it on those digital storefronts before they close down, because a physical version is ridiculously expensive. So it's great to see Tomba coming back.
Hey man, I have a copy. I hope it tumbles. I hope it's not worth much.
I don't care, man. Yeah, okay. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to
make these things available. Whoopee Camp. What did they go on to make after this?
Tomba 2 and that PS2 game that was a horror game, Extermination, or was it Extermination? I think it's called.
Really?
Extermination.
That's a hell of a pivot from Tomba. This was on all the demo stations that I remember playing PS1 at, like in Kmart and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It might have not been Whoopee Camp. I think that was their spiritual successor, probably, if I remember correctly. I think the leader went over there.
They might have been over after this.
I think they're still around because they're publishing. They're on this game development for it.
That's awesome.
So. Yeah, it's Deep Space, but I think it was from that original team.
Deep Space. Oh, I gotta find these.
And very last but not least.
Yeah, here we go. The development Extermination was initially held by Tokuro company Whoopee Camp prior to his dissolution.
Oh, Tokuro Fujiwara?
Okay.
Oh, he left Capcom in 95. That's why this is straight up Capcom-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is greatness.
It's published by Sony, I think. I wish we would get a PS2 port.
I'm so excited for this. What's the last one, Brant?
The Gex trilogy. This came out of nowhere.
When they tried to trick you with the fucking James Bond GoldenEye shit, I was like, oh, is this GoldenEye? Until it got to the weird non-licensed version of it, that song towards the end of it.
The world has changed.
I mean, a lot of people really dote on Gex, but getting a Gex trilogy, one is it is out of nowhere. It is pretty crazy that we're getting a Gex trilogy, but also at the same time, these games aren't super expensive to get other places, and also they're very dated. Gex is the epitome of your 3D platforming mascot, wisecracking. He like never stops with the jokes, and after about 2-3 minutes in a level, you've heard the same jokes like 10 times.
Hey, we gotta fill up that sweet CD-ROM with something. Red Book voice clips. This is cool to have, though, and people are still talking about this.
Gex. Yeah, it is great to see Gex.
And even some of the hits and misses, like they hit the ball out of the park with like the Cowabunga collection, right? But throwing stuff at this Carbon Engine, and Cesar was right about talking about putting PS1 ROMs, running them through this thing, and they're ready. This is even more proof of concept stuff. Like, hey, look what we can do. Look what we dug up, and there's no telling what's going to be next that comes forward to help out with them. Very good show. Lots of cool stuff. Maybe the best show of the E3 season-esque?
Probably.
Nintendo show.
Nintendo was fantastic.
I was waiting for the announcer to say $2.99 and walk off the stage.
Yeah. That's really how you bring that arrow home. $2.99. No camera. Here's how you share games on the Carbon Engine. All right. That's it for us. Is there anything else you guys want to add? Thanks for throwing that in. It gave us a little bit more.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.